A few people have asked me to cover Relation Manager for October CMS. So Relation Manager is a feature that you get out of the box with October, and it's basically another form control for your backend forms. But this time it's made specifically for maybe a little bit complicated relations that you have on your site. So for us on this site that we are creating, we have a relation between actors and movies, and also between genres and movies. So in this episode I'm going to show you how you can take that relation manager, how you can configure it and put it on your backend forms, so that your users can have a better time of updating and adding content to your site. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at our relations. So I'm going to go to plugins, watch, learn, movies, and then if we go to models, we have a few models right here: actors, genres and movies. And if we click on a movie, you can see the relations that we have. So we have a touch menu relationship for our movie gallery, we have a touch one relationship for our movie poster, and we have these a bit more complicated relationships for belongs to many, genres and actors. So we are going to create form controls for these two relationships that we have. We already actually have form controls for that, but we are going to make, I would say, better controls for it. Because if we take a look at our backend now, we can see that we have a form control of checkboxes for genres, and we have this tags field for your actors. So we are going to replace those with maybe a bit better controls. Also, to actually start using Relation Manager, you would have to go to controllers, and then you go to the movie controller. So we go to controllers, movies, and now you have to implement that control. As you can see, we already have some controls right here. We have a list controller, we have a form controller, reorder controller, which you get out of the box if you are using a builder plugin. Now right here we have to create another control, which is going to be relation controller. So to do that, you just do backend behaviors relation controller. And as you can see, I'm using dot notation right here. So you can use dot notation, or you can use this backslash notation. It doesn't matter, you can use both of them, you can mix and match, but I would suggest if you're using one, you use it all the time. This is just an example of how you can actually use this dot notation. Another thing we need to do, we need to create a configuration file for our relation manager. So to do that, you just do public a relation config equals to it's going to equal config relation.yml file. So we are going to configure our relation manager in this file, just like you would configure a list controller, reorder controller, and so on. So config, you can of course name this file whatever you want, but we are going to just follow the standards right here. So config relation.yml, and that's it. Now we have a setup for our relation manager, and now we can create this file, and we are going to configure our relations in that file. So we would create config relation YML file in controllers, movies, and then right beside these other configuration files that we have. So config filter, form, list, reorder, we create config relation. Okay, now we have that file configured, and now you have to write the name of the relation. So if we go to our model, movie model, you can see that the relation for genres is genres. So we go right here and write genres. Okay, next thing we need to do is give it a label, and the label is going to be genre. Okay, genre. And now you have to define the view for your controller. So you have a few options. You have views, you have manage, and you have pivot. If you are using pivot table and you want to manage that right on your backend form, you can check out the documentation for that right here. And as you can see, you have view and you have manage. With view, you configure what is going to be shown on the backend form. When you just get to the backend form, you want to have a list of models that are related to the model that you're currently editing. So to do that, we are going to say that the list for it is going to be, so we start it with a $, and then we do watch learn models genre, not genres, a genre. And now you want to display something there. So we already have the list for our genres configured, and that list is in columns.yml file. So if we write just that, we would get a list of related genres for our movie. Let's try to test this out just to see if it works. So if I actually, it's not going to show anything until we go to, let's say, update. And right here you see the form is rendered here. So we are going to render that relation manager right here. So this relation render, and then the name of the relation, which is in our case genres. Save this and let's check it out. So let's actually just refresh this page. Okay, we are getting an exception. Probably our YAML file is screwed up a little bit. Yeah, so the view needs to be in the same level as the label. So view and then the list. Let's save this, refresh it. And now we get this. And as you can see at the bottom of the form, we get this list right here. And also you get create genre, add genre, and so on. If we click on create genre, we get nothing. Also, if we click on add genre, we get the genres that we can add, but this is not going to work yet. We can add selected, save it. And now if I refresh the page, you will see that they are gone, right? And also you can delete genres. You get these buttons by default, but you can also define exactly what buttons do you need. So let's say that we are going to have only add and remove for genres. So to do that, you just under the view set toolbar buttons and set them to be add and remove. So when you click on remove or on add, you're not going to add new genres, or you're not going to remove all genres. They're just going to be removed from this particular model. So the genres are actually going to stay. So if I click on action and click remove, the action is still going to exist. So if I refresh the page, you can see that the action is actually not checked right now, but it still exists. But if you use the delete button, then you would actually delete that genre. Okay, so this is working kind of. So as you can see, you can remove the genre from the this model, but you can't add genres, you can link that genres and so on. You can't do any of that. Also, as you can see, when we change these toolbar buttons to be add remove, now we only got add and remove buttons for our genres. And let's try to do one other thing. Let's just set the manage view for our genres. So manage. And now we are not going to use list because we don't want to list anything. We want to manage the genres. And to manage the genres, you would have to have fields for those genres, right? So we actually set up our configuration to show a form for that, right? So form So we would call fields YML, and all of those fields and columns are in models, and if you go to movie you have columns and fields, right? Also they are going to call these files, so from the genre. And we can also set checkboxes to true. Okay, save it. Let's see what we get now. If I click on particular genre, you can see that I get update genre, comedy and slug. We get title and a slug because in our genres, if we go to genres and if we check out the fields for the genres, you get just title and slug. So that's the same thing that you would get on your movies. So let's try to add a genre. I think we could actually do that or change it. So let's try to set this to be teen comedy. And click update. And now as you can see, this is updated to be teen comedy. If we refresh the page, you also get teen comedy right here. Still, this kind of works. If I want to add genre, I still can't add it. If I click on documentary and romance, add selected, they will be shown right here. I can save it and I can refresh it. But as you can see, we still get just drama and teen comedy. And why is that? This is because in our fields YML for the movies, we actually didn't define those genres. We are just rendering that form on the update page, but the October doesn't know that when we create something, or actually when we add a genre to our movie, it's not actually saving it to the database because we didn't define that field in our fields YML file. So that is what we are going to do right now. So first of all, I'm going to cut this out, save it, and now in our movies, controller movies, I'm going to create another file which is going to be called field genres .htm. Actually it's going to be called field genre.htm, and I'm just going to paste this code right in here. Okay, so that's the first thing that we need to do. Now we have to define that field. So if we go to models, movies, and now we go to fields, we can see all the fields that we got. We got name, description, year, slug, and so on. And also we have genres right here. But as you can see, genres is currently relation field. So type of the field is relation. We want to change that to be partial because we created partial called field genre. So I'm going to set this to be partial. Okay, and now there's just one more configuration that we need to add, and that's the path to that file. So we just do path, and October is automatically going to know that that particular file should be in controllers movies. So we don't have to write the full path to it, we just write field genre. And that should actually be it. If we save this right now, go to this page and refresh it. Now as you can see, genres are moved up, they're above the actors, and they're right here. Also we don't have any more of those checkboxes because we defined that field in another way. So let's try to add genre right now. So if I click add genre and select documentary and romance, add selected. Now we added those genres right here. Let's try to save this and refresh the page. And now as you can see, documentary and drama are added to our movie. Now they're not just gone like there were before. Also we can remove, let's remove teen comedy and romance. If we remove them, refresh this, now we got just documentary and drama. So as you can see, this works. Okay, let's try to do the same thing for actors, but we are going to create a bit more complicated control for this. So first of all, we create another partial, and we are going to call it field actor.htm, and paste in exact same code, except this time it's not going to be genres, it's going to be actors. Save it. Now we have this configured. Okay, we can actually close this out and close this out, and now in our movies fields we have actors, and their type of actor box, because we created that form control ourselves. So this is a custom form control. We are going to change this to also be partial, and the path is going to be field actor. And if we save this, nothing is going to happen. Or let's just see actually. As you can see, we get error because we didn't define how our actors should behave. So we didn't make configuration of them. So in our config relation YAML file, we create another configuration for actors. And the list is going to be watch, learn, movies, models, actor, columns. I'm just going to actually copy this. And just change this. So actor columns. Okay, if we save it now and refresh the page, we should get the actors. So as you can see, we have actors right here. We can create them, add them, delete them, or remove them. And we currently have Ellen Page and Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay. So we want to create a manage form for them, because if you go right here right now and try to click on Ellen Page or Leonardo DiCaprio, nothing is going to happen because we didn't set the manage form for them. So I'm just actually going to copy this, paste it right here, set this to be manage and this to be form, and of course our form is going to take fields. You can of course create different files for this, so you may not want everyone to be able to change all the fields from the movies page, but you can create a subset of fields that you want for the users of your site to be able to change. Okay, save this, refresh the page, and now if we go to Ellen Page or Leonardo DiCaprio, we can see that we can change that field, and now it's Ellen Page DSFDF. Okay, Leo DiCaprio. Also we can add actors to this. If I click on add actors, you can see that we have a huge list of actors. So what we can do is we don't want to always go through that list, because we probably would know what the actor's name is if we are adding it to the movie. So I'm just going to show search. You show search and set it to true. Save this, and now if we refresh it and try to add another actor, you can see that we have this search box right here. And if I start writing something like Tom, I get Tom Hardy. So I can add Tom Hardy to the list of actors. Save this page. If I refresh it, everything is going to stay here, and Tom Hardy is going to be connected to our movie. Also, you have a lot of other options that you can use on these configuration files. So if we go here and try to find it, as you can see, you have form, you have list, you have show search, so show sorting. Show sorting is true by default. You have default sort, records per page, so how many actors or genres you want to display per page. You have some conditions that you can use, where you can use queries. You have scopes. Also, let me see what I wanted to show you. You have this record URL, so you can click on that, and let's say that in the list we want to show this record URL, but we are going to have to remove manage from here, and I'm going to set this to be, so let me just see. If we go to actors and click on an actor, we can take this part of the URL. So it's going to be watch learn movies actors, and then not update. Actually, we can use update because we probably want to update that actor, and instead of hard coding the ID of the actor, you would just do ID. Save it. And now if we go to movies and here, and now when we click on this list, we are not going to get the form to update those actors, but we are going to be redirected to the actual page of the actor. So if I click it, I'm going to go to the LM pages page and save it. Okay, let's go to movies once again. And as you can see, LM page now doesn't have those DSFDF. Okay, so be sure to check this documentation for a relation manager. As you can see, you have a lot of options right here, and also you have some examples for a specific type of relation. So has many relations, belongs to many, with pivot data, belongs to, has one, and so on. As I said, the relation manager is used just to set up form control for you to easily change the data on your site. Everything we did here will be available for you on GitHub, remember that. Also, if you wanna ask me questions, you can do that on Facebook or on Twitter, YouTube, GitHub, my website. If you maybe wanna send some money my way, you can use the Patreon page for that. The link will be at the end screen of this video. And of course, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the channel and the content I put out, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.